Good morning. This market looks very weird today. I'm watching this 7,000 level on ES. Also watching NQ as well. I'm gonna be patient before making any moves today. What I really am looking to do is short, but we'll see what happens. I'm watching for a daily 2 up. If there is a daily 2 up, it's going to be a little bit hard to short, but we're in a 1 candle right now, so this is a consolidation zone, right? 30-minute time frame doesn't look too long ready for me. I think we could still have a pullback, especially on NQ. I think we could still pull back maybe to overnight open area. 25 198. If I look at my 1 hour setup, 1 hour doesn't look long friendly at all either, so I'm gonna be pretty patient as far as getting into a move today. I'm not really looking to play the upside push. In order for me to play the upside push, we would need to see NQ at least hold above 447, and if it doesn't do that, I'm looking to short. So yeah, that's pretty much how I'm going about this. All right, just got a 5-minute 2-down trigger here. I'm gonna go short 1 MNQ here. Keeping size light. My stops are gonna be up here at 394. So I am short. Targeting 25,200. That's the previous daily level, I believe. That was a previous daily level. This could go lower, but that's kind of what I'm targeting. So again, I already laid out my thesis for looking to play short, so I'm just hoping I get follow through. The market hasn't been giving a lot of follow through lately, so I'm just looking for a pull down here to really to this 25,187. So I want to see if we can get it, but the last or overnight I seen them short it and they didn't pull it down there to that yellow line, and we didn't get the tap. They just bounced it a little bit off of the previous daily level, which made sense at the time. But I'm hoping we can just get it from, again, midnight open to midnight open. So ideally 25,186 is my target. All I'm playing is if this then that. So we held under these midnight opens or these yellow lines. So I'm looking for here. Overnight, I will say I was playing some upside on MNQ. And the only reason was I played, what did I play? I think I played like around here, caught like this, but I was just playing it from midnight opens to midnight open, and I was just taking scalps. But this is a decent move that I like to catch, even though it's still within the range. I'm playing NQ over ES because the points that we can capture, at least from here, is still good enough to walk away with a decent sized profit, right? So I'm hoping we can get the pull down to this yellow line. We're gonna be volatile because we're still in a consolidation candle on a daily, so anything can go. This can go either way still. Even with the pull down here, if we get 187, if we look at the daily, that's still going to keep it in a one candle, right? So it's still going to be consolidating. And what's really keeping me in this short as of now is a 30-minute trying to cool off more to the buyer zone because it's coming off of a seller zone. But at the same time, the 1 hour is also exiting a seller zone and we have a 2 down. So that's what's really keeping me in this short, to see if we can at least take it back down to open or somewhere like that. Yeah, I see that we're not even getting, like, look at how they're bouncing this thing. It's crazy. So again, I am short at 25,314.25 on NQ. I'm looking for 25,200 and I'll be out the short if we can get it. Still pulling back. Just dump it all. Oh my jeez, they're gonna be like that. You see how they're trying to bounce it near that daily level? Frustrating. You know, in life they say nothing is ever perfect. So with that being the case, I'm out shorts here. I'm out shorts. Take profits. This is times 5 accounts, so I could 235 times 5 accounts. Let's just see, put this here. You all should be out those shorts. And if you took the shorts, please let me know you took the shorts or something. But that was amazing. Yes, this can come lower, but that was beautiful. That was beautiful. So I hope you all were able to catch those shorts. This thing can for sure come lower. New 30-minute candle is open, but this is what I like to see down here. However, if we look at the 1 hour, we may have a little bit more downside to put in. Regardless, beautiful fucking shorts. I hope you guys were able to catch that. Let me see something. Alrighty. obviously they're going to try and bounce it. Would make sense. Would make sense. And I'm not even going to lie. I could low-key play this bounce too, because we're holding the midnight open. Boom, boom. I'm not going to play it. I see it though. It's clear as day. It's clear as day, the bounce. Clear as day. But I'm not going to play it. I'm going to be smart. But I see it though. So what they're going to do is they're holding 189, so they're going to take it to 307 more than likely. I know that because let's do a quick recap of what took place. So I want to do a quick recap of my system. Well, there's still some people on a live. So again, early in the morning session, I seen that the market was pushing up. 30-minute stochastic RSI was in that seller zone, so I already knew that shorts were coming, right? They started shorting at around 6. By the time I got on a live, I seen that we still had some more downside left. Now remember this, because I spoke about this yesterday, right? For those, Josh, if you're there, you could correct me. We spoke about this yesterday doing our recap, correct? And you'll see what I'm talking about. Whenever we get like the 30-minute stochastic RSI, or like let's say a 5-minute or even in 1 hour, and it looks like there's still more downside left, I'm anticipating, especially if like they're shorts or if we're going long, I'm anticipating that to hit so it can fully call off the 30-minute. Because anytime we get this stochastic RSI like baked into that 0 area, that's when you get a profound bounce, right? Whenever you get it at like, let's say a halfway point, like say right here, and I'll zoom in if you guys are still watching, but like whenever you get into like a halfway point, like right here, I always anticipate more downside, because again, once it gets down here, I can expect the bounce. But if it's here, I anticipate more slippage or more downside to get it into the 0 area, and then they'll bounce it. So if you look at that and look at how it lines up with the price, we got a little bit more downside to call that 30-minute off. So that's exactly what I was looking at today. And so for my entry point, the entry point was a little bit off, only because if we go on a 5-minute, normally, ideally, I'm looking for the short entry off of the 5-minute stochastic RSI in the seller zone, right? So here would have been my short entry. And the reason being is on NQ, like I said, let me just close this just so we can follow my midnight opens, right? The yellow lines. I've always stated, if we hold above a yellow line, we test the next one to the upside. If we hold under a yellow line, we test the next one to the downside. So in this case, since the 30-minute stochastic RSI was in a seller zone at around 4 a.m. So if we were up at 4 a.m. and we go to like, where's 4 a.m.? 4 a.m. is like around here. Let me see, like around here. You could have caught a quick short, but it would have popped. Now, the 5-minute is in the seller zone here. I don't think anybody would have caught this, but you guys would have probably been up at, let's just say 6 in the morning. This is where things would have been weird, because this was a nice entry here, but here, this was not so well, because the 5-minute stochastic RSI, it wasn't in that 100 zone, but it was exiting that 100 zone. So when I seen it, we still had quote unquote more downside on it to get into the 0 zone, right? And I didn't know how much they were going to pull price down to make that happen. But the thesis that I was under was, if that was the case, they should cause a 30-minute to now trigger and cool off, and then cause the 1 hour to start triggering and cool off. And we could probably start seeing price flush, right? And the only way I knew that could have happened was these yellow lines, right? So I took the short because I seen the 5-minute 2 down had triggered. So I said, okay, I'm going to just take a 2 down trigger off of the 5-minute, because that's what I would have taken, you know, regardless off of my 5-minute entries, a 2 up or 2 down. So I took it, and my stop was the wick high on that previous 2 candle. So 392 was my stop, right? And so the thesis that I was looking at was, okay, this 2 down triggered under multiple midnight opens. So I'm using those as lower end or lower time frame, not even lower time frame, but intraday resistance points. Because if we could hold under that, then we won't go up here to this yellow line. Because I was thinking, okay, if I take it on the 2 down and we break back above here, I could probably get stopped out, as it'll try to go higher for this yellow line up here. So on the 2 down trigger, again, I was just hoping, okay, let's just get the flush happening. Let's get the flush going. New 5-minute candle opened, held under, triggered the 2 down. And that's when I knew, okay, we could really start flushing. And that's when the first flush happened, as you can see. And then we started to bounce. Now, this is where I started to get annoyed, but what I was looking at was these yellow lines. I started telling myself, hey, if we hold under and can remain under this yellow line on any type of bounce, we should continue to pull lower and head for the next yellow line down here, which was at 186, right? So continue to hold my position, I stayed on a 30-minute time frame because once I seen that 5-minute trigger, or once I got in, I flipped to a higher time frame, and I just really wanted to stay on it just because I wanted to start seeing this cool off, and I knew that we still had time left on this 30-minute candle. So I didn't want to worry myself of all the noise and the bounces that were going on a 5-minute, right? I wanted to just block that out and stick with the 30-minute. So that's what I did, but we're just going on a 5-minute just for explanation points. New 5-minute candle had opened, flushed down lower, and as you can see, boom, we got our target way before that, but 187 hit, right? A little bit slippage afterwards, but that yellow line hit. And as I was explaining yesterday, it's as if this then that, right? So if we held under 305, we were going to come down here to 186, as crazy as that sounds, which in my opinion, again, NQ pose a better risk to reward as far as the drop, because again, you could still make a lot in this even if you had 1 micro. So that's the move that I was catching. Now let's just forward test, right? If we hold under 187, right? If we fail to hold this as support and hold under, you guys can see where NQ can drop next. This yellow line down here at 25,011 flat. And if I'm looking at the 1 hour and I'm just going off the 1 hour candle now, and let's just say I were to take this 2 down trigger, this is where things get a little bit, you can almost call me crazy, but maybe you could take it off the 30 minutes still, but nah, even the 1 hour, like if you were to go short here, ideally your stop would be at 402, which sounds crazy, but you would be targeting 25,000, right? Crazy risk to reward, but that's essentially the reason being is the 1 hour still shows a little bit more room to the downside. We don't know how much, but based on what we can see with the midnight opens, we have a big move that could ensue, which is down here at 25,012. So that's just forward testing it. Obviously on a 30-minute, it looked like it wanted to bounce, but this 30-minute 2 down just triggered. So what I'm going to tell myself is if this 30-minute 2 down continues and this doesn't bounce back above 188, we could start flushing down here to this 25,000 area. And I just try and keep it that simple. Now, you can have other indicators to help you, like flow and things of that nature, but kind of kicking myself in the foot because I wanted to short SPY and take some SPY puts with the short that I was doing on NQ, but I was just too focused on trying to play this, so I missed it. It's on me, but hopefully in the next session I'll be able to trade options and play futures at the same time. It's not easy, I'll tell you that much. It's not easy. But yeah, we took the short. If this, then that. We held under the yellow line, so we went down here. And we can pretty much call it for the day. We don't have to get greedy. I will say a bounce could potentially come. Only because the 30-minute has now like fully cooled off. So all that's left for me, as far as my system goes, is seeing what happens with this 1 hour candle. Are they going to keep price sideways or are they going to flush it? If they flush it here, I for sure anticipate them to bounce it at like 25,000 flat. That's what I for sure anticipate. But even on this pullback, like I stated, if we look at the daily candle, it's still consolidating. There's no direction. So this thing could bounce and just retrace this whole pullback if it wants to. And if it doesn't break above 467, give or take, 464, it's gonna be going nowhere, and it can just go right back down, right? So with that being said, let's stay on for about like 30 more, but we'll stay until 8 o'clock just to see what they want to do what's remaining, because what I'm thinking is a little bit more downside. That's what I'm thinking, and this is just based off of the hourly time frame. So I'll stay on, and we'll just see what'll happen. I have no position right now. I could go in short, but what I'll do is I'll wait for the new 30-minute candle to open, if anything, and then we'll see what to do from there. Because if we get the new 30-minute candle open and it 2 down trigger under this 187, we could take a light short, stops at this wick up here, and then we can try and capture the rest of this downside here. Even the 4-hour still poses more downside as well, based off of all that. So yeah, I'll stay on and see what we could potentially catch. But we'll stay on a 30-minute time frame because there's about 17 minutes left on this candle. So I really want to see what happens. Just a little bit of some commentary here. The bounce is, I'm not surprised that they're bouncing it because we know how the midnight open works. It's just annoying because there's no direction in this market, you know? So we're damn near scalping, and just to justify my scalp, that's why I switched over to NQ, because at least I feel like I'm catching some sort of a move if I'm gonna scalp this thing, right? Let's go take a look at ES here. Look at this, 69.79. And again, this is me taking it from midnight open to midnight open, okay? And you'll see why I went to NQ. 69.79 to 69.65. I wouldn't have held for this extra slippage. 69.79 is where I would have went short, because if we're looking at this off the 5-minute setup, blah blah blah, whatever, I would have seen a 3 down trigger, so I would have realistically caught it somewhere around here at 69.79, and I would have flipped to my 30-minute, which still poses more downside, by the way, and I would have been out at 69.65. That is not even like what? Like, if I'm trading ES, at least give me 25-30 points at least, because that's what you can squeeze out of her, you know. But that, I wouldn't have sufficed. So I went over to NQ, because if we look at NQ, the drop here, 25.303, 25.188, way better drop as far as how much you can make, even if you're sizing light, because again, there's no direction, right? So that's why I'm sticking to NQ right now over ES, because NQ right now is just posing way better moves. Like, for example, if we, again, let's just say we're going to drop more, right? Let's go look at ES real quick. If we're going to drop more, this is where ES starts to maybe get a little bit fun, but all right, let's just say 69.58, 69.46. That's just another 10 points, right? It doesn't start getting fun until the drop below 46. That's when we get at least a 20-point move, right? And then another 20-point move from there. But if we go look at NQ, and again, 20 points is good on ES, 10 points is good on ES, but this is just only because we're in scalpers mode right now. We look at NQ. If we hold under 189, that's another 100-point drop, damn near. 80, 90 points if you want, 90 something points if you want. But now if that doesn't hold, look, that's from 25, what is that? From 25,016 all the way to 24,461. That is a drop. Now, it sounds crazy. Oh, NQ wouldn't do that. It sounds crazy until you go look at previous price action and look at what happened when they held 24,400. It's the move to the upside sounded crazy, obviously, but they did it. And I know that they did it because this midnight open was created on Thursday, and this midnight open was created Friday, the day after. And yeah, they made that move in one day, a little bit overnight session, a little bit New York session, a lot of it overnight session, a little bit New York session. But yeah, so that tells me that if they break this to the downside, yes, we're going to catch a big move as far as, you know, shorting goes. But you could even see it here on a 30-minute. You can see the range that we're in. It's nasty. Like, what the fuck is this? Excuse my French, but like, what is this? Like, what is this? This looks like a bat. Like, what? This is clean. This is clean. This is clean. Like, but what is this? I don't know. But anyways, we're gonna try and, you know, do what we can, work with what we have. And so what we can really see that's working with us in our favors is the midnight opens. I think somebody was asking me, how do I get my levels? Midnight opens. I don't plot anything but the midnight opens, or they all obviously plot themselves. However, I do use the previous day highs, previous day lows. So I do identify those, and those tend to line up with my midnight opens. And then at the same time, which I have hidden, I'll show, I use the session volume profile, and these also tend to line up with my midnight opens, right? So in this case here with the short, and the session volume profile tends to update, but with the short, we shorted it under point of control, and there was a value area low right there at 244, which we tried to bounce off of, but failed to hold. So we fell to the previous session value area low, which was down here, but we bounced just before that. So those also can line up with midnight opens depending on what time frames you go on. As you can see, this tells me that this is I have not only a midnight open but a previous session value area low, so that's why we're bouncing. But as you can see, we're rejecting there another value area. So session volume profile just gives you the market auction theory or market auction ranges. But what I will say, for those that want to understand how I get my levels, midnight opens. Like, I literally run off that, because again, banks use it, institutions use it, and they act as magnets, which is why I was confident with the short to take it from this to that, which is a decent move. So now I'm just sitting and I'm just waiting, because they're trying to bounce it, but the bounces aren't holding, which is beautiful. I don't care about any of this. If we got back up here and started having turbulence, okay, we can take the short right back down here. But now I'll just let him do whatever. If we get a 2-down trigger, that's going to be very interesting. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger so fast on the short, because we have 7 minutes left on this 30-minute candle. So I'll probably just wait for a new 30-minute candle to open, see if that gives me a 2-down trigger. And like I said, I could take it down. I could take her down. But we'll see. We'll see, because with that new 30-minute candle that opens in 7 minutes, that gives this 1 hour, 30 minutes left. And I don't know. I don't know. Could be getting greedy, because again, there's no direction. So how would I know that it's going to continue going down? I just need those triggers. This was a clear short, and only because the overnight run up, it was a clear, at least short it right back down to the open. So anybody that's trying to short this more is just getting greedy. You got to take what the market gives you. And we already know what the market's giving, because we can see where it's trying to bounce. I see what they're trying to do. I could give a little game or breakdown of what is kind of going on here, just based on a 5-minute, 15, and 30-minute. There was a failed 2 up, turned into a 3-bar. So what I'm seeing is, if they don't break it back under 186, they're gonna pop us up to 305. That's what I'm seeing. So that's because it's what it's looking like. So we would need to break back under this 188, 186 area. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that I like. I already know better than to take this bounce play because it's clearly not ready. Like it's clearly not ready, and this just looks nasty. This looks nasty. Alrighty. What is this, a 30-minute 2-down trigger? No, not yet. It's about to be though. There's the trigger. That's 100-point fucking stop loss. What the fuck? Hell no. Hell no. What? They're crazy if they want me to have that big of a stop. That is too big of a stop. I mean, but you can see, like, let's just say you were to take that short. Yeah. You see it? There's a drop. It's happening. It's happening. That's a big ass stop though. 171 to 259. They're crazy. They're crazy. I'm doing a clean short. Clean short. You flip to the 1 hour now, and then you take it down, right? As long as you don't get stopped out, you can try and ride it down to 25,000 flat. But again, it's holding under 25,187. So that is a clean short. I'm not going to lie. It's just too wide of a stop for me to really want to take. Maybe I could get something on the next 5-minute candle, maybe, but this one looks like it's already gone. That's okay. As long as my thesis was correct, I'm all good. If I was degenning this, yeah, I would probably went short, wide stop like that. Because again, the risk to reward, what would you be risking? The trigger was off of, let's just say 169. So 169, let's just say 260 minus 169. You would have had a 91-point stop, and you're targeting 2509. So 91-point stop, to target 156 points of downside. I guess. Decent risk reward. Yeah, this thing is she's going. She's going. I don't want to chase it though. But she's going. I'm not even upset. I'm not upset one bit at all. I just want to show you guys what's gonna happen. Now we could potentially make this drop down here to 25,011. Like I said, they did the run up. They can do the drop. It looked crazy until it's now happening right before our eyes. And I'm loving every second of it because we are finally somewhat picking direction. Somewhat. We have to break under 25,058 and then we get a 2 down. And at that point, oh boy. Oh boy. But there it is. She's falling. She's falling. This is beautiful to watch. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I'm just staying on, just because I want to see this thing just fucking pull down. This is beautiful.
I noticed earlier too, Jay. We spoke on this yesterday. That 30-minute RSI for Nasdaq was
But see, that's why I like the fact that we immediately went back to go back test. We immediately went back to go back test to see, okay, what were we missing? Like, why did it pull down and everything? And we understood it, right? And so we now know why this current pull down is happening, right? And that's only because not only did the 30-minute two down trigger, but it's the 1 hour that now has to do its cooling, right? So how much is going to pull down? We don't really know. That's where our levels come into play. But again, we understand that today was not a day to be playing longs, despite the overnight run up. And we knew that based off of the system. So, yeah. Now we can just, I honestly don't even want to play no bounces. Like, I'm still looking for more downside based on the 1 hour. At least come down here to 25,013. And then we will see what it wants to do. If that doesn't hold, oh my goodness. If that doesn't hold, oh my goodness, is all I can say. In fact, let me post it in chat. Yep, this thing can get scary. Look at that downside. Still more downside playing out. Beautiful. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. At this point, I don't even care if this yellow line doesn't hit. It's just the fact that they gave more downside after breaking this, and we already knew that. That's beautiful. And we knew more downside was coming based on a 1 hour. And we still can get more downside, don't get me wrong, because we still have 4 minutes left on this hourly candle. So it could still make a quick slippage flush down here for by all means. And before figuring out if it wants to bounce. Again, this is a big range right now. So if this doesn't bounce here, this is going to flush hard. And I mean hard. So with that being said, I'm going to call it there. I'll be, what's today? I'll be live tomorrow. I'm going to call it there. No need to chase, no need to rush. We're approaching a big major level. If it breaks and it flushes more, hey, it is what it is.